Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. I'm back after an extended break from streaming and from iRacing in general. I had a lot of things going on in life, such as graduating high school and all the ins and outs of that. But tonight we are back and on Facebook once again, getting ready to bring a race to you guys from the Mid-South iRacing Tour tonight at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. This is a crown jewel event on their calendar. The Freedom 200 means we're going to be going for 200 laps. And right now on the left side of your screen, we'll get the tower up there. They're going to have 5 minutes to do 2 laps, and their best time will be the time taken. So we'll take a look around and see who is on the track. There's a name I recognize right away. 05 machine of Blaine Aiken. Actually pops it into the wall there, trying to get as much momentum built up as he can. Got to reset the car and go for another lap at qualifying. Blaine Aiken, a regular in the CRA Street Stock Series in real life. Picked up a win earlier on this year. Let's see what he can do tonight. Haven't really kept up. I haven't been able to keep up with the league as much as I'd like to, just being busy with everything, and I don't really know what exactly to expect going in here tonight with who's been fast, but I have been seeing that Mark Keatman has been having speed, but that's kind of a usual here on the WD Broadcasting Network. He's not a stranger to the top of the board. But right now, after a couple minutes, looks like the 54 of Brandon Elvis is up top, and as I say that, Mark Keatman right on cue, going to the top of the board. About 3 minutes left in qualifying. Everybody making their final runs around the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Another USA-themed car, the number 93 machine of James Pileski, making his qualifying run. As he comes and he sees the green flag right there. A good field of super late models on hand here tonight at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Well over 25 cars trying to make a lap here in qualifying. As the 93 comes to the white flag, lap number 1 for James Pileski in the 93. Put him in position number 12 with an 18.69. Keatman still at the top of the board with an 18.54. Travis Wright jumps up to third quick with an 18.55. Very close times here, all inside the top 10. Pileski moves up to position number 9 with an 18.63. And as you can see on the left side of your screen, very competitive times throughout the top 10 and the rest of the field. Everybody very close in time. These guys are on a fixed setup, and if you are new to the iRacing service, well, a fixed setup is the drivers can't change it. They aren't allowed to do anything. There's only minor tweaks available, such as your steering settings and brake bias and stuff like that. But other than that, there's really no difference between the cars that everybody's running here tonight. So that allows for great competition and close battles on the racetrack. As we have just about a minute left to go here in qualifying, I'm going to take a quick break before we send these guys off for 200 laps of racing here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back in just a second here on the WD Broadcasting Network. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting set and ready to go. Green flag racing here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Going to be setting these guys off for 200 laps of action. We'll get your starting lineup to you in just a second, as we're going to have, looks like 28 cars on the grid down on pit road. So this is going to be a pretty fun experience for all of us. And for some reason my cameras are not working here. Give me 1 second to try and figure out what is going on with the cameras. They won't swap. There we go, we fixed it, and we are ready to roll. So your starting lineup will be on the pole, the number 2 machine of Mark Keatman, reigning champion in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. That guy can do it all, and as you can see, he's got speed here tonight. To his outside will be the 54 of Brandon Elvis. Rolling off in row number 2 will be the number 10 of Travis Wright and Randall Falks in the 28. Row number 3 is Preston Bores and Dalton Collins in the 95. Row number 4 consists of Justin Coleman and Robbie Kennelly. Todd Lamphere, James Pileski rounding out the top 10. In row number 6 it'll be Dalton Connor and Brian Gravel. The 19 machine of Colton Coe rolling off next to Blaine Aiken in row number 7, Brian Vouse and Nick Smith row number 8. Starting all the way back in 17th, Cooper Ward in the number 4 machine. Going to be rolling off next to Kyle Terzak in the 112 tonight. Zach Coyer, David Hill, Kenneth Kuko, Rob Hattenbach, Jake Brooks, Magnus Anderson, Michael Dunn, Caleb Hill, and Brandon Wilkinson going to round out our field, as well as Jake Grout in the 49 machine. So a big field of super late models here tonight. We're going to see what everybody has, because they're going to give them a couple pace laps and then send them off for 200 laps of racing. So here they go. It's in the hands of Mark Keatman and Brandon Elvis in the 54 machine. Bringing them out of turn number 4. Keatman's going to go, and we are underway in the Freedom 200 with the Mid-South iRacing Tour. As Keatman down into turn 1 has a big advantage as they head down the back straightaway. He's going to have a couple car lengths on Brandon Elvis in the 54. His leader of lap number 1 will be the number 2 machine of Mark Keatman. So Keatman can start to log laps here. He gets a pretty good gap down the back straightaway that time. Brandon Elvis trying to stay close back as the field starts to single file out behind. He's right here. Blaine Aiken stuck up top in the 05. Oh, and contact. Aiken in the 05 sliding up the racetrack. I believe the 26 of Todd Lamphere might have gotten into the left side and pushed him up the track a little bit. The outside, not the spot you want to be here early on at Myrtle Beach. Up in front of him, another car up on the top side. Robbie Kennelly in the 1K trying to make it work out of turn number 2. He's got Justin Coleman his inside. Into this one, Keatman showing the way so far. He's got about 7 car lengths, and as I say that, yellow flag flies. I do believe Cooper Ward, a big pile up. I believe that's turn 2 on the exit right there. And it is the number 4 machine at Cooper Ward having some left side damage. Take a quick look at what happened. We'll be right back in just a second. Is right here. You're going to see it in slow motion what happened. Going into turn 1, it looks like David Hill just gets in a little bit too hot, makes contact with the 4, and then it was on from there. They all piled in. The number 4 machine of Cooper Ward went a little bit sideways. And they all ended up right there in turns 1 and 2. So right now, your leader, Mark Keatman, all the way up front. As we are 8 laps into this 200-lap event. So folks, on screen right now you see the cone car driven by Ethan Wolf. He's going to be showing, you'll see right here, the driver's going to pick inside and out which lane they want to be in. It looks like Keatman and most of the front runners going to take the bottom. Dalton Collins and Robbie Kennelly not afraid to jump up top. As the field goes back, it looks like it gets pretty spread out throughout. But a couple guys not afraid to try the top side of the racetrack. Your race leader, Mark Keatman, elects to stay on the bottom side of the racetrack. Enjoyed that first start that he got. He was able to pull away a couple car lengths. Brandon Elvis on the top side, going to try and slot back in line. He did a nice job on that first start, just kind of settling in. It's a 200-lap race. Can't win it in the first 15 laps. So these guys trying to just calm down, get some laps on their tires, and get some racing in. We'll see if we can do it this time. Going to be setting them back green right here. Lap 12 of 200. So a long way to go for Mark Keatman if he wants to hang on to this one, but getting ready to send them back green. The pace car down on pit road. It's going to be Keatman and Elvis out of turn number 4. Keatman slamming on the gas pedal. Elvis didn't get the best of starts there. Here comes Randall Falks to the inside, going to capitalize and take the second spot away. Randall Falks in the number 7 machine, going to slide into second as Brandon Elvis going to slide into third. Dalton Collins knocking on the back door, as well as Robbie Kennelly and Preston Moores in the 16. 4 cars right there trying to battle for that last spot on the podium. The rest of the position in the top 5. They're all still side by side. 2-car breakaway with 4 behind them on lap 14 out of 200. As Collins now getting to the inside of Brandon Elvis and have an advantage out of turn number 4. Elvis going to try and make the long way around to work. The outside lane, you can make it work sometimes, but it's just hard on the tires, and these guys only having 2 sets of tires to their availability. They have these tires that they're on now, and they have one in the pits for their use whenever they need them. It's going to be a tire game. Myrtle Beach, a very old surface here, so it's just going to eat away the tires. And ooh, a little bit of contact. Brandon Elvis tried to slide in there in front of the 16 of Preston Doors. Doors let him have it, but not very easily. Hard into the corner once again. Everybody trying to get as much room as they can, really. Track position might be key later on, especially if we get into pit stops. Mark Keatman in the number 2. Has a pretty good gap, but don't look now. Randall Falk starting to slowly reel in the number 2, maybe just a little bit. Last time around, the 7 of Falk's a whole 10th quicker, as you can see on the timing screen right there. A 10th quicker in the number 7. He's trying to reel him in, but also not show his hand. A big battle behind him. Everybody's scrambling for the 3rd spot. Ooh, contact. Robbie Kennelly goes around. James Pileski involved as well. Everybody piling in. And the big loser out of that one was James Pileski. He's ended up the wrong way in turn number 2. So we'll take another look at what happened here as we are under caution for a second time here at Myrtle Beach. Here's another look at what happened. Looks like going into the corner, Pileski just gets in a little bit too hot and tags the bumper of Robbie Kennelly, and then everybody piles in. Nowhere for them to go. The track's clogged. And just a very unfortunate situation for everybody involved. So we'll be right back when they come green. Unfortunate that that many cars were taken out, or that were involved in that, and now have damage throughout the rest of the race. So back under yellow here, Mark Keatman, your leader. We saw Randall Falk slowly kind of reel him in there, but we're going to have another choose cone brought to you by Ethan Wolf Racing. Ethan driving the car here. We'll get a neat little camera here if I can find it in time when they come back around. And there it is. You're going to see which way they go in and out from the back of the choose car. Everybody swerving, trying to not be predictable. Ooh, close call there. So, as you can see here, a big field of super late models. Everybody in the Mid-South iRacing Tour are doing a great job of showing up and showing out for everybody that helps put this league on. So Mark Keatman, Randall Falk's going to bring us back to green. Dalton Collins, somebody we have not seen up in the podium so far. He's going to go to the bottom side into turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he's got anything for your front runners, as they hit the white flag right there. Going to be setting them green next time by. And it'll be Keatman and Falks. We are 25 laps in out of 200, a long way to go. But I'm sure these guys are still going to race hard for every spot while they can. So pace car is in. Keatman early on the gas off of 4. Randall Falks not expecting that one. He's going to drop him in a second. Dalton Collins up in a third easily. Brandon Elvis stuck on top once again with Preston Boers to his inside. He's down the back straightaway. Keatman going to get a good advantage going into turns 3 and 4. He's going to try and set sail once again as the field tries to single file out behind him. But once again, it's Keatman at the line. Yellow flag is out. Don't know what exactly happened there. Trying to see on my timing. Not sure what the cause of the caution was right there. I'm trying to go back and see what. We'll get a replay and figure out what happened in just one moment. We'll be back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. As folks, we are back green. Not too sure what happened there exactly on the caution. Something just not quite registering. Sometimes when the cars get a certain amount of distance away from where the camera's focused, for some reason iRacing doesn't let you go back and see. So I think that's a case of what just happened there. The field getting ready to go choose their lanes once again. As you see the choose cone, or the choose car right here. So we'll look and wait for the cars as they come towards the choose car. First option is going to be Mark Keatman in the number 2. He is your race leader. It's looking more spread out this time. Everybody just trying to settle in the line, relax. Nobody really taking any risks and going out of line. So everybody at this point in the race trying to just kind of settle in. One of those guys that is really trying to settle in is your race leader, Mark Keatman. You know, he just wants to turn laps and get the race over with. As for some reason, folks, the timing tower is not working. I'm trying to get that figured out for you guys in just a second. Not popping up, but it'll be back after at some point in the race. But for now, I'll just keep you updated. We are 32 laps in to this 200-lap event. Mark Keatman, Randall Falks, your top 2, going to be setting them back to green. Going to have to see if anybody is able to capitalize on this restart and get around Mark Keeman in the 2. Pace car to the bottom side of the racetrack. iRacing, Keeman gets a good jump. Dalton Collins going to have the door open on the inside. Here comes the 95 machine trying to take the second spot away. It looks like Randall Falk's going to be able to shut the door. Everybody single filing out pretty quickly here this time around. Nathan once again up top, trying to work the top side around Brandon Elvis, the 54 machine, falling towards the back in a hurry. He's back behind them. Caleb Hill, Dalton Collins, Connor battling in contact. Multiple cars involved. Oh, the one machine bouncing up in the air. The track was blocked and nobody had anywhere to go. Looks like Caleb Hill going to end up on his lid. We'll take another look at what happened in just a moment. Be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. Okay, folks, unfortunately wasn't able to get the replay on that, but I did get the timing tower back up. You're going to have to ignore where it says that this is the first caution. I had to reset, and all the timing was erased, but we are back with the timing screen ready to go. We are almost a quarter of the way through this one. 39 laps in out of 200. They're going to be choosing their lane next time by for the restart. It's been a pretty caution-filled race so far. Had a lot of little single-car incidents and a couple of big pileups. We are not even halfway, so this race is going to be very exciting, and I can already see a lot of drama in the end, and it should be pretty entertaining 200 laps. As they are going to choose their lanes right here. Everybody going inside, outside, back and forth. A bunch of cars taking the bottom lane there. Cooper Ward going to benefit big time on the top, getting a couple meters there. So everybody has chose their lane. And we are getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Your race leader, Mark Keeman, hasn't seen anything but the top spots so far. Randall Falk's trying to give him a run for his money. Hasn't been able to capitalize on the restarts. So we'll see if any of these front runners have something for the number 2 machine of Mark Keeman. So you get the white flag and be sending back green flag racing next time by. Try and log some laps here, get the field maybe a little bit strung out, and relaxed a little bit. But the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. It's going to be Mark Keeman, Randall Falks once again coming at you at the line. Restart from the 2 machine. Falks and start that time going to have a gap to Dalton Collins in the 95 behind. Everybody jogs into turns 1 and 2. Here they come down the back straightaway. One around. Looks like the 99 is Rob Attenback. I believe we stay green. He gets it spun back up. Keeping back up front, your leader. Got a comfortable gap to the number 7 machine. That was on for the third spot. Blaine Aiken has gotten around Preston Boers and Dalton Collins. Moved the 05 machine to the third spot. He's hard charging early on here, trying to get more down in the turn 1. Next to each other, trying to slot in line. Everybody giving each other plenty of room. Just trying to long line for this one. Up on top is not going to be if you're playing the tire scene. These cars are very easy to slide, very easy to beat up the tires. So you see who can play the game the best. So Mark Keeman up front still. Got a pretty comfortable gap to the 7 machine. It's a 2-car breakaway to the 3rd place runner, Blaine Aiken. And it's Preston Boers in the 16, Ryan Myrtle. Preston Boers, Travis White, and Robbie Kelly running at the top 10 as of right now. Lap number 50 mark. Keaton got a comfortable advantage. For Liberty Broadcasting Network, rank it up at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. And a couple laps around the Myrtle Beach Speedway with your race leader, Mark Keeman in the 2 machine. As we are 50 laps into this one, the 2 machine has been out front for all 50 of those laps. Sorry, 52 as we crossed the line that time. If you want to talk about someone who is dominant in the Mid-South iRacing Tour, someone who knows their way around the league, it is this number 2 machine of Mark Keeman. He's got a lot of race wins with this series, over 20 wins in the short time that the series has been alive, just a couple of years. Keeman is definitely charged to the top of the food charts here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with, as you can see right now, putting it to him at the Myrtle Beach Speedway so far, starting to get a little bit of a gap to Randall Falks in the 2nd place spot. Blaine Aiken starting to peek his nose in the rearview mirror of the number 7 machine, starting to make his presence known a little bit, trying to creep towards that 2nd spot. Not pushing too hard though. Remember, it's a 200 lap race and still got a lot of laps left on these tires. Wasn't able to talk with anybody before the race, with any of the drivers before the race, to see what kind of strategies they have going in, but I can tell from my experience, usually what you do in these super late models is just kind of cut the race in half with your tires, but a lot of guys might be trying to venture out, find different strategies, find something that doesn't, or that isn't what everybody else does, and sometimes whoever takes the biggest risk can get the biggest reward. So we'll see what everybody has in store for strategy and tires throughout the race. But right now, 57 laps in, under green, Keeping your leader. Falk 2nd, Aiken 3rd. Everybody else pretty single file out throughout the throughout the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Don't know why I thought we were at North Wilkesboro there for a minute, but we'll look at the field, how spread out we're getting. Top 5 cars broken away from the rest of the pack. Then a couple stragglers in the back. We have 19 cars on the lead lap. And the first of those is the number 2 machine of Mark Keatman as he comes around right here with a pretty big advantage. And here comes Blaine Aiken to the inside. He wasn't waiting anymore. He got to the back bumper of the 7. The 7 of Randall Falks was generous enough to let him by. He saw he was coming quicker. He said, you go have a shot at him, see if you've got anything for Mark Keatman. So Blaine Aiken jumps up into the 2nd spot. Falk's going to fall into 3rd. Preston Bohr is not quite able to capitalize, but he's right there as well in the 4th spot. So Blaine Aiken in 2nd. Last time around, Mark Keatman just a little bit quicker. So Aiken might just be putting the parachutes on here for a second. Got up into that 2nd spot. Doesn't want to hurt the tires anymore. As Keatman continues to extend his lead. As we are 62 laps out of 200 here at Myrtle Beach. I'm back once again here at Myrtle Beach. Keatman's still your leader. Got a couple cars changing positions here on my screen. I believe everybody's single file throughout the rest of the field. But still up front, Mark Keatman, Blaine Aiken, your top 2. Preston Moore is getting a little bit aggressive on the back bumper of the 7 machine. He might be thinking it is time to move up. Remember, if he gets up into the 3rd position, he's going to have a great opportunity to make up some positions on the choose cone. So Preston Boers might be trying to think ahead track position-wise as he closes in on the number 7 machine of Randall Falks. But everybody's starting to calm down. Keatman, your leader. He's approaching lap traffic in front of him. Couldn't quite tell who that was that time. Out of turn number 4. We'll see right here if we can see. It looks like a white car. I believe that is the 99 machine of Rob Hattenbach, and it is. Remember, we saw him spin early on in the restart, and he lost a lot of ground. He's still on the lead lap, but Mark Keatman is slowly closing in and going to be able to potentially put one car one lap down. I'm sure if we go green, the number 2 machine going to start to increase that gap. He's got a 1 second advantage over Blaine Aiken right now. So a lot of time in between those two. 2 machines sitting pretty right now as we are 70 laps in at the stripe. Not a good day for your points leader, James Pileski, in the 93 machine. He is out of this one already. Remember that big wreck we saw early on? That one is going to end up putting him away for the rest of the race. So, unfortunate break for James Pileski. Remember, just everybody was so tight right there and just nowhere for anybody to go once the track got blocked and Robbie Kennelly went around. So tough break for the 93. Your points leader, that's going to cause a big stir up in points. If Mark Keatman, who I believe was in the 2nd place spot in points, is able to capitalize on Pileski's bad day and maybe pick up a victory here, that might skyrocket him into the 1st spot in points. So Keatman trying to do what he has done in past seasons and pick up another championship here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. As we approach further and further into the race, we're going to get closer and closer to a field window. I believe it's roughly 120, 130 laps here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. So we'll see if we make it that long under green, but
I've seen super late models have to do green flag pit stops before. That was at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway with the Mid-South iRacing Tour a couple months ago. Green flag pit stops at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway was a joy to watch. I think it would be even funner to watch people trying to get out of pit road at Myrtle Beach under a timely manner. For those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about, there is turtle curbs, as they call them in NASCAR, on the apron of turns 1 and 2 on the pit exit. And it's kind of a nightmare, as you see right there, Mark Keatman driving around them. It's really tight on the pit exit, and I've also, as well as many others, I've hit the curbs under green flag, and that is one of the struggles of Myrtle Beach, is those curbs in turns 1 and 2. So everybody having a pretty good night so far, staying away and not ending up on the curbs. As Keatman continues to put laps down and improve his gap, about a 10th quicker that time than your second place runner, Blaine Aiken. And one guy to keep an eye on so far, he's crept his way up into the top 10, but it is the 22 machine.
Sorry, the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson. It says Brandon Wilkinson on my timing screen, but the car on screen says 22, so we'll refer to him as 22. But Brandon Wilkinson started in the 28th position. He's up to the 9th spot. And he has gained a lot in this short amount of time, so he obviously has speed and knows how to get the car around Myrtle Beach Speedway in a hurry. So we'll see if he has anything later in the race. We are 80 laps in now. Dalton Collins making a move to the inside. He's caught Brian Gravel in the 21. He goes to the 5th position. Here comes Preston Moores to the inside of Blaine Aiken in the 05 for the 2nd spot. Moores down low, Aiken up top. Plenty of room between the two. It looks like Aiken's going to fight up on top. Not going to give it to Preston Moores easy, but it looks like the 16 machine is going to have the advantage, and it's going to be clear down the back straightaway. Move the 16 of Preston Moores into the 2nd spot. So they're going to try and reel in Mark Keatman. You see the 2 machine way up the road, heading into turns 1 and 2. He's got a lap car of Rod Hattenbach in the 99 in front of him. It looks like the 19 machine, or the 99, sorry, trying to stay out of the way of Mark Keatman. Brandon Wilkinson in the 22, trying to pick up a couple more spots. Here he goes underneath the 54. Brandon Elvis, move him up into the 7th spot. Looks like the 22 machine is charging towards the front. He is up into the 2nd spot, or sorry, 7th spot, working the back bumper of Ryan Gravel. Looks like he's to the inside of the 21 machine. He's going to slide out front. Brandon Wilkinson putting on a passing display here at Myrtle Beach early on. Just shy of halfway, 84 laps in out of 200. I'm going to take a quick break here and return in just a moment on the WD Broadcasting Network. As we are back on the WD Broadcasting Network, Mark Keatman, your race leader, might have had a little bit of trouble with lap traffic there as Preston Moores was able to close in. The 16 machine has been putting in laps that are quicker than your race leader, slowly starting to get rid of that deficit to your race leader, Mark Keatman. Looks like he's railing in the number 2. We are just shy of the halfway point, slowly ticking laps away, but before we know it, it is going to be halfway, and these guys are going to have to start making the choice of green flag pit stops. It's close, and And if we don't get a caution, some guys might have to make a green flag pit stop. And these cars are very difficult to pit in as Mark Keatman gets into the wall on the back stretch. Looks like there's no damage to the car. Just a little tap, a little love kiss to the outside retaining wall. As you see Preston Moore slowly creeping into view right there in the 16 machine. He's trying to improve lap times here and try and reel in that number 2 machine. So we'll see what they went that last time. Identical lap times, so the gap is definitely not getting larger for the number 16 of Preston Moores. He's going to have to play it smart and be patient if he wants a shot at victory here. We are still a long ways from the end of this one. Preston Moores gets into the outside wall. You saw Mark Keatman do it a couple laps prior. Maybe these guys starting to get a little bit tired. The caution flag flies here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway, 95 laps in out of 200. Didn't quite catch what happened there, but I will go back and see. It looks like Blaine Aiken in the 05 might have had a little bit of trouble. We'll take a quick replay and see what happened. It looks like the 05 does have some front end damage, so we'll take a look at what happened. All right, I have the replay of what exactly happened here. You see the number 7 machine, right there. Brandon Wilkinson in the 22. And it looks like Aiken just gets a little bit of contact with the 7 machine's right rear, and they both slide up into the outside wall. So not quite sure what happened between the two of them, but we are under yellow after a long stretch of green flag run. Undoubtedly, people are going to be making pit stops here. So we're going to go ahead and see everybody after pitting. Looks like Cooper Ward going to be the big beneficiary in the number 4. He's going to jump up to the lead as he looks like he's going to stay out under this caution period. As you see, drivers choosing their lane on the front straightaway. Cooper Ward going to be bringing us back to the green flag. And Mark Keatman going to give up the lead for the first time this race. Going to see what everybody else has in store. It looks like Brandon Wilkinson must have taken 2 tires and try to jump ahead of Mark Keatman in the 2. We'll see if it works out in the long run. So we are halfway this time by. We're going to be setting them green next time by. They see the white flag.
So it's going to be a 100-lap shootout to the finish. And we'll see if anybody is able to get out and run away before the fast number 2 of Mark Keatman tries to climb his way back through the field. We'll see. It's going to be Cooper Ward, Ryan Vouse leading us to the green as the pace car is in. It is in the hands of the number 4 of Cooper Ward. As he jumps on the loud pedal, a little bit of squirrely tires back there. A couple guys having a little bit of trouble getting going. One of those was the 95 of Dalton Collins. I believe the caution flag is back out. Early trouble there for someone in the field. We'll take a look at who it was. Couldn't quite see who had trouble there. We'll take a quick replay and see what exactly happened. Really quickly, what happened right here? You see the 99 machine of Rob Attenbach in the 99 right there. Just a little bit of contact with Robbie Kinley in the 1. They both slammed hard in the fence. The 99 went for a tumble in turns 1 and 2. That's going to put the 99 machine out of the race, I do believe, unless he got back on his wheels. Folks, I am back on the WD Broadcasting Network. We are 106 laps in out of the 200 lap event here in the Freedom 200 with the Mid-South iRacing Tour. So they have done the choose cone, they have picked which lines they want to do, and we are about to go back racing. The lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car. We're going to send them back green with 93 laps to go. So we'll see if Cooper Ward is able to hang on to the lead or if Brandon Wilkinson can continue the charge to the front. He's going to be rolling off from the 2nd spot. Then it's Brian Vouse, Preston Moores behind them, Mark Keatman, and Travis Wright in the 10. We are green out of turn number 4. Cooper Ward with a good start in the number 4 machine down into turns 1 and 2. He's going to be clear of Brandon Wilkinson and move Preston Moores back to 3rd. 4 cars, 5 cars single file out of turns 1 and 2. And the caution flag flies.
sure, once again, what exactly happened there. A couple of cars closer to the back. I'm going to assume we'll take a quick look and see if we can find what exactly happened here. We'll be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. As folks, we are back on the WD Broadcasting Network. And the cause of the caution, I wasn't able to capture it. The full thing on the replay, it popped in and out once again. But the 20 machine of Dalton Connor went for a spin in turns 1 and 2. We're back under yellow once again. 90 laps to go, roughly, in this 200 lap event. We've seen pit stops, we've seen changes for the lead, and we've seen a lot of yellow flags. I think it's going to start heating up soon, and these guys are going to get more aggressive for that race lead. So the time is going to run out. Track position is very key here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway, so we'll see what this choose cone has in store for us. So I believe Ethan Wolf in the choose cone has pulled out onto the speedway. There he is, right there. And we'll get a close-up camera for the choose cone this time around. As we'll see, everybody going to go in and out. Looks like a pretty normal choose cone right there. Not everybody ready to take risks and gain that extra track position. As your race leader will continue to be the number 4 machine of Cooper Ward. He's going to be rolling off next to Brandon Wilkinson once again. So far in this race, the leader has had a very good opportunity to get a good restart and have a good advantage down in the turns 1 and 2. We'll see if Brandon Wilkinson's able to change that up top and give Cooper Ward a run for his money. As everybody going to they're going to get the white flag right here. Going to be going green next time by. As you see the lights fall off of the iRacing.com pace car. Pace car pulls to the safety of pit road. And it's going to be Cooper Ward, Brandon Wilkinson leading us back to the stripe. So Wilkinson going to try and get a little bit of a head start as we are back racing. Wilkinson spins the tires. Ward also spins the tires, and we are back racing into turns 1 and 2. Wilkinson side on the back bumper of Cooper Ward. Down the back straightaway they go. Looks like Ward going to have a safe advantage, but a permanent advantage into turns 3 and 4. Wilkinson in the second. Preston Boards in the third. Here comes Mark Keeman to the bottom side of Brian Vouse. In the 55, contact is made. Looks like everybody able to keep it going in the right direction. But Mark Keeman trying to move back towards the front as he's got the 55 wheels outside, not ready to give up yet. So Keeman working the bottom side of the racetrack, not being too aggressive. Big sideways moment there from the 55. We got a battle for the lead. Brandon Wilkinson peeked his nose inside that time. Definitely has the run. The old tires might be starting to catch up with Cooper Ward. Wilkinson going to try and go the long way around, up around the top side. We'll see if he's got the speed to do it. Contact down the front stretch. Cooper Ward not going to give up easy as they head into turns 1 and 2. We
we still have a battle for the top spot. Caution flag flies. Just as things were heating up there up front, the caution flag flies, and I do believe it was the 112 of Kyle Terzak. We'll see what happened. We'll be right back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. Here's a look at what happened. You see Terzak in the 112 move, 05 and Aiken with the bobble on the inside, loses the nose of the race car and gets up into Terzak in the 112. And that's what caused him to go spinning. So under yellow once again here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Cooper Ward out front still in the number 4 machine. He played a little bit of a game with the strategy, and so far it's worked out for him. He's been able to retain the lead. And while we're under this caution period, I'm going to take a quick break and go refill my water cup before we get ready to send these drivers back. Green flag racing, you're not going to miss a thing. But we're going to be right back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. So we are 80 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach at the Freedom 200. As the drivers have chosen their lanes, the pace car pulls down to the safety of pit road. Looks like I timed it perfectly as we are about to go back green flag racing. 77 laps to go. Cooper Ward gets on the gas pedal early. Brandon Wilkinson in the slot in line. Here comes Mark Keatman trying to make a bit on the top side. Remember, he got 4 tires on pit road, and he's going to try and take the long way around. Looks like Wilkinson going to slam the door shut, and here comes Keatman slotting his way into third. Ooh, contact! Preston Boers around in the number 16 machine, and a big pile up in turn number 4. You saw what happened there. Preston Boers in the 16 got tagged, and then it was on from there. We'll take another look at what happened. We'll be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. Here's another look. Keatman got down in the number 2 machine, and that caused the number 16 of Preston Boers to check up, and everybody with just nowhere to go on track. Very unfortunate for the 16 of Preston Boers. He had a good run going,
in that second spot. Or sorry, in that third spot. That's all going to come to an end as he is now on pit road. But up front, still your race leader, Cooper Ward. He played the strategy game and tried to stay out on the older tires. It looks like it's working so far. We're approaching 70 to go. We'll see if he is able to hang on. Brandon Wilkinson and Mark Keatman both looking very sporty. We saw Keatman make his way into third, but he took a look on the outside of the 22 of Brandon Wilkinson on that first lap of the restart, trying to get in, or tried to go the long way around in turns 1 and 2. Fortunately, the door was shut on the exit of 2, and Keatman was forced to fall back into line, but still, 2 sporty race cars behind your race leader, Cooper Ward. This should be exciting here, as we have just over 70 laps to go in the Freedom 200. It's under yellow once again. A bit of a caution-filled race, but we've seen some pretty good green flag racing, and we saw a really long stretch of green flag runs. So it looks like everybody choosing the lane right there, figuring out where they want to go. So the pace car drops to pit road. It's going to be Cooper Ward, Brandon Wilkinson once again. Ward with a fast-paced restart that time. Kind of caught everybody by surprise, but Keatman was ready to go on the number 2. Brandon Wilkinson. Oh, Cooper Ward goes down the racetrack 3 wide out of turns 1 and 2. It looks like Mark Keatman's going to take the lead into turn 3. Brandon Wilkinson going to try and fight back on the top side. Not sure what happened to Cooper Ward there on the bottom. Might have grabbed the inside of the curb. But nonetheless, a battle between the 2 and the 22 into turns 1 and 2. It looks like Mark Keatman gonna jump back up to the top spot, but Brandon Wilkinson back to the bottom. The crossover move in turns 1 and 2. They're side by side out of turns 3 and 4. Looks like Keatman's gonna have it at the line, but here comes Brandon Wilkinson charging back to the bottom in turns 1 and 2. A great side by side battle for the lead. 132 laps into this one. Here comes Cooper Ward trying to stick his nose back into the mix. As Keatman able to hang on the top side. 2 tires versus 4. 2 on the bottom, 4 up top. Looks like Keatman still trying, but Brandon Wilkinson going to be able to prevail into turns 3 and 4 and get clear. So race leader is Brandon Wilkinson. Keatman with a bit of a slide right there. Might have gotten tagged from Cooper Ward in the 4. It's a very tight battle up front for the lead. Looks like things might be starting to calm down here. A very exciting restart that time. And oh, someone gets tagged. Justin Coleman in the 14 machine up into the outside wall, and the caution flag flies. So under yellow once again, 135 laps in out of 200. So we'll take a look at what happened to the 14 machine and Justin Coleman. You saw him slide in the back of the pack. It looks like he got up into the outside wall. So we'll take another look at what happened. We'll be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. So it looks like what happened to the 14 right here. You see him battling with Blaine Aiken in the 05. Looks like they just get in the corner and have a disagreement of whose car should have been where. And it looks like Coleman in the 14 going to come up on the short end of the stick that time around. And he's going to have to make his way down pit road, get some of the damage repaired. So back under yellow once again. We'll see if maybe next time around these guys can get some green flag laps underway. And there is problems potentially for one of the front runners. Mark Keatman going to lose quite a few positions there. Might have came down pit road. As yes, Mark Keatman that time around came down pit road and got some freshies on, or potentially got some freshies, or maybe a faster pair on the number 2. Not quite sure what happened. But nonetheless, he's going to be back in the pack on this restart. As the cars have chose their lanes, Brandon Wilkinson elects to take the bottom side. Ryan Gravel going to be in the second spot. Zach Coyer, Brandon Elvis, a couple names that we have not talked about tonight or in a while, going to be at the front of this field when we send them back racing. They're going to get the 1 to go signal this time by. It's going to be Brandon Wilkinson bringing us back to the green. You saw he put the crossover move on the number 2 of Mark Keatman. So Mark Keatman just came down pit road. Going to see if that shakes up the strategy a little bit. Potentially some fresher tires on the number 2 machine. We're going to have 60 laps to go on this restart. Pace car drops to the bottom side and into pit road. And Wilkinson and Gravel are going to lead us to the stripe. So Wilkinson going to bring him down slowly, and then he launches. A very slow restart compared to what we've seen tonight. And the 22 is going to have a huge advantage down into turns 1 and 2. As we watch them head down the back straightaway, everybody getting single file out relatively quickly. In the 2 already on the move, trying to come back after losing all the positions on pit road. He's got top left Flores inside. Keeping trying to go the long way around. We've seen him able to make moves on the top. Looks like he's going to be able to this time around, so move Keatman back up into the 6th spot. He's going to try and break with him in the 1K. Up front, Brandon Wilkinson starting to get a big gap to Brian Gravel in the number 21. 6/10 of a second at the line. And Wilkinson putting in some pretty impressive lap times here for late in the race. So the 22 machine definitely has the pace to keep the race lead for a while. But we're going to see if Mark Keatman in the 2 is able to reel him back in. 2 of the strongest cars all night. It's going to be a good battle here to the finish. 55 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Folks, don't look now, but here comes Mark Keatman. He's moved up into the 4th spot, knocking on the back door of the 54, Brandon Elvis. Being patient here, looking to the inside. Elvis going to give way in the 54. A lot of room down the bottom side to the number 2.
to the bottom, trying to take the third spot away here, and you see second right there in front of him. But way up the road is your race leader, Brandon Wilkinson, as Keaton is able to make the pass. Here comes Robbie Kennelly trying to follow suit. Looks like the 2 and the 1 have a lot of speed left here at the end of this one, as we are 50 laps to go at the stripe. So in the final quarter of this race, everybody's going to start getting aggressive now. If they aren't yet, they will be soon. It's Keatman closing the gap to second place right there significantly. Brian Gravel might be having a little bit of problems with the tires on the number 21 machine. So here comes Keatman looking on the outside. Thought better of it into turns 3 and 4. He's all over the back bumper. The 21 kind of slides up on the exit there, grabs a little bit of a wall. Here comes Mark Keatman trying to take second now. As we've seen him charge from 9th on the restart up into second with 48 laps to go. Here comes Robbie Kennelly as well. So these two are going to have to try and chase down Brandon Wilkinson, or do they save their tires and wait for a yellow late in the race? We'll see what kind of strategies these guys display as we are getting towards the end of this one. Kennelly able to make the pass into the third spot. So everybody back to single file racing as they head down the backstretch. Here's your race leader, Brandon Wilkinson. Here's your second place runner, Mark Keaton. Two cars we have been very fast all night long. Going to battle out for the win here at the North Wilkesboro, the Myrtle Beach Speedway. For some reason, I keep trying to think about North Wilkesboro Speedway. Two old racetracks, two racetracks with a lot of history and a lot of character. Tonight we are at the one located in South Carolina, or used to be. Maybe it's North Carolina. I probably should make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's South. Anyways, Brandon Wilkinson continuing to improve that gap. Last time by, Keaton about 2/10 quicker. Don't know if the lap car was involved with the lap times between your front runners, but it looks like the time's pretty even that last time around. So Keaton might be trying to save his hand a little bit, not play all of his cards yet. Trying to save something for the end. We still got a lot of racing left to go. A lot of opportunity for these guys to get right back up next to each other. It's going to take one yellow flag, and this is going to be a completely different race because tire saving might just go out the window. These guys want to lead for a long time here. As we have 40 laps left to go. Sorry, 41. Wilkinson, your leader. Kennelly has been able to keep right there with Mark Keaton, so maybe some speed left in the 1 machine here late in the running. We'll see if he's got anything for the 2 machine as these tires get more and more laps on them. The current look through our top 10, Brandon Wilkinson running first in the 22, then it's Mark Keaton. Right behind him, Robbie Kennelly in the 3rd spot. And ways back to Brandon Elvis, Brian Gravel rounding out the top 5. Zach Coyer right there in the bright green, number 13. Running in the 6th spot, Kyle Terzak 7th currently. Brian Vouse, Cooper Ward, who we saw leading a while ago. He's currently running in the 9th spot. And rounding out the top 10, driver who we saw sliding up into the outside wall a little bit ago, it is Justin Coleman in the 14. He rounds out the top 10. So Wilkinson trying to expand his lead, but that's not going to help. You saw him grab a piece of that outside wall. So we have 37 laps to go. You see Mark Keaton slowly closing in. The lap times are looking a little bit more in the favor of Mark Keaton. The tires finally start to wear out on the number 22 machine. We'll have to see, as we are still clean and green here at Myrtle Beach. Wilkinson out front, Keaton just trying to slowly close in that lead. There's still a lot of racing left to go. I've been in situations like this. If Brandon Wilkinson, I'm just trying to do my best to keep the car from sliding. It's really easy to slide these tires and get them hot and have no right rear drive left at the end of the race. So you just got to conserve the tires, especially the right sides, if you want any kind of grip in a late restart or a late run situation. You have to have all the grip you can. So these guys trying to save their tires, but also fight for the lead as Keaton getting really close to the back bumper of the 22 machine. Once again, another car length or two taken out that time around. Keaton definitely had a little bit left in the tank. Wasn't showing at all, but it seems like he is here now. He charged up to the rear bumper of the 22 in a hurry. We'll see how easily Keaton's able to get around. He's obviously quite a bit faster than Brandon Wilkinson. Will Wilkinson fight him? Looks like he's going to drive to the bottom side of the racetrack, not leave that bottom lane open for Mark Keaton. Myrtle Beach is a really easy track to hit, so when you're passing him is a completely different story. We'll see if Keaton's able to get a run off of the corners. Looks like he's going to peek to the inside here. Wilkinson not going to let it happen yet. Still wants to keep that lead for a little bit longer. We're closing in on 30 laps to go. Kennelly right there in the one machine as well. This could be an interesting battle if the top two get together. Near contact there on the exit of turn number 4. Looks like Wilkinson's still able to keep Mark Keaton at bay. Robbie Kennelly in the one machine right there on the back bumper, and Keaton as well. Wilkinson doing a fine job of holding that bottom side, just not letting him get a run off of the corner. You see him kind of slower through the center of the corner. Slower through the center of the corner is the 22 machine, but that's just stalling out Mark Keaton's run. He gets kind of slides up into the entry of the corner a little bit and cuts it down right at the exit. But unfortunately, Brandon Wilkinson able to keep the 22 machine in front. Is Keaton now right on the back bumper, nearly contact between the front runners. It's Brandon Wilkinson doing everything he can to keep the number 2 of Mark Keaton at bay. A little bit of bumper tag through the center of the corner that time. Mark Keaton letting him know he's there. He's been on the back bumper for quite a while. Oh, contact between the two. Wilkinson up the racetrack. He's going to hang on to it. No, he slides to a near stop. Looks like we're going to stay green as Mark Keaton puts the bumper to the back of the number 22 machine, shoots him up the racetrack, and we have a new race leader with 25 laps to go. Mark Keaton back on top. Mark Keaton may have the lead, but here comes Robbie Kennelly in the one machine. We saw him closing in on Mark Keaton as he tried to get around Brandon Wilkinson. Did he save anything while he was riding behind the two? Does he have anything left with 25 laps to go to give a challenge to your leader, Mark Keaton? Kennelly still hanging right there on the back bumper of Mark Keaton. We'll check in on Brandon Wilkinson. It looks like he's recovered. He's in the 3rd spot, but he's under fire from Kyle Terzak and Zach Hoyer. A little bit of contact made, a little bit of bumper cars in the center of the corner right there. Brian Gravel got a little bit loose off that inside curbing on the exit of turn number 2. Brandon Wilkinson now going to have to defend from Kyle Terzak in the 112. Front, Mark Keaton has the lead. Will he be able to defend it? Robbie Kennelly all over the back bumper of the 2 machine with 23 to go. It's going to be a battle of consistency and endurance. Don't look now, Brandon Elvis in the 54. He's starting to close in a little bit on your race leader, so you got to wonder if these two tangle, if he's going to be able to capitalize, potentially steal a victory. He's going into the corner. Caution flag is out. Brandon Wilkinson slow in the number 22. We'll see what happened. It might have been better of the bumper tag that was being played with Kyle Terzak and Zach Hoyer. We'll see what happened between the two.
yellow flag is out with 21 laps to go. So quick replay of what happened there. You see on screen the 22 of Brandon Wilkinson and Kyle Terzak battling. We see a little bit of contact in the straightaway. Might be the next lap. I might have gotten one lap too early on the replay. Or a couple laps too early, I should say. Let me just fast forward it really quick. Try and get the right lap here for you on stream. So I believe it is the next lap around, but they made contact in the straightaway, and I believe Kyle Terzak was frustrated with Brandon Wilkinson and the contact that they were making. So not quite sure if that was the case. I believe it was right here off the corner. A little bit of contact there, and you see Terzak's car disappears with the angle of the 22 machine hit the wall. You gotta think that there was something involved with Terzak's frustration. So unfortunate for both of those drivers as they are going to be out of this one. As we are back under yellow, getting ready to go back green. We'll be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. And for what could be a very important restart right here. Choose car coming out. Looks like Mark Keatman gonna take the bottom side. Gonna give the top to Brandon Elvis in the 54. We're gonna be sending them back green flag racing with under 20 laps to go. So we're gonna have to see if Mark Keatman's able to hang on. He's got fast cars behind him. The number 2 machine has got a very fast hot rod here tonight. So we'll see if he's able to capitalize and hang on for a victory in the Freedom 200 at Myrtle Beach. So the drivers get the white flag. They'll be setting a green next time by with 15 laps to go. Folks, I want to know now, who is your pick? Who are you cheering for and who do you want to win? Down in the chat. Let's see who everybody's got as we shape up for what could be the final restart. It's going to be Mark Keatman and Brandon Elvis leading us to the green. It's Keatman through the center of the corner, slowly rolling. As Keatman gets a jump sideways, everybody having trouble on the gas. Brandon Elvis going to lose a couple positions. Here comes Cooper Ward. They're 3 wide in turns 1 and 2 for the 3rd spot. Ward in the 4 trying to make a ground on the bottom. Cooper Ward trying to move his way back up into the top 3. Mark Keatman and Brandon Elvis both having trouble getting going on that restart. We saw both of them spinning the tires quite a bit on the throttle. So the grip might be starting to go away here. We have 14 laps to go. Keatman gets a good advantage as he heads out in turns 3 and 4. 13 laps to go for the number 2 machine of Mark Keatman. They're scrambling behind him for the 3rd spot. Here comes Cooper Ward back to the bottom once again. Not quite done battling with Brandon Elvis for the 3rd position. Elvis doing a good job up top of the 54, hanging on to the spot, giving Cooper Ward too much breathing room as they head into turns 1 and 2. Once again, looks like Ward might have an advantage, but the one on the top side gets the better of him as Elvis tags the wall.
These two back and forth, not ready to give up. It's like advantage into turns 1 and 2. But here comes Cooper Ward fighting hard back to the inside. Oh, contact is made. Around goes the 54. Brandon Elvis goes around. You saw the contact there. The 4 machine of Cooper Ward might have just pushed the limit a little bit too much heading into turns 1 and 2 that time. So the caution flag flies. 10 laps to go. This is going to shake everything up, folks. Mark Keatman is the race leader. And he's had a good car all day long, but with under 10 laps to go, drivers are going to get aggressive, and we're going to have to see what happens on this restart. So I just did the math on this. Mark Keatman, if he can capture the victory here tonight, this will be win number 27 with the Mid-South iRacing Tour Super Elite Model Division. Mark Keatman in a world of his own with 26 wins in the series. Carter Russo second with 15, and then it's Michael Bumgarner all the way back at 3 victories. So Mark Keatman definitely knows what he is doing when it comes to winning these features in the Mid-South iRacing Tour, and he's put himself in a great spot to do it again. There's 8 laps to go at the stripe. I believe the cone car of Ethan Wolf is out on the racetrack, getting ready to park on the front straightaway. So the car is going to be choosing next time around, and we're going to see if anybody's got anything for the number 2 machine of Mark Keatman. So everybody not quite ready to choose the line. Do you believe we are going to be entering... I believe we are going to be choosing this time around. We'll check really quick, see where Ethan Wolf is in the cone car. There he is. We're going to go one more time from behind the cone legend car. Keatman to the bottom. Oh, we got a mix there. Ryan Gravel to the inside. Zach Coyer going to jump up top. Let's see if he's got anything for Mark Keatman in the 2. So it's going to be Keatman, Coyer, Gravel, Vouse, Coleman, and Lamphere. Your top 6. As we're coming to 5 to go this time. Looks like we'll be setting them back green with 4 laps to go. So a 4-lap shootout to decide who's going to take home the victory into the Freedom 200. Mark Keatman, Zach Coyer. Pace car pulls to the bottom side of the racetrack, and potentially for a final time, we're going to be setting them back green. It's in the hands of Mark Keatman, Zach Coyer. Keatman goes early. Gravel spins the tires. Coyer goes behind him. And we are back racing with 4 to go. Keatman going to have a big advantage through turns 1 and 2. No trouble behind as long as we stay green. Zach Coyer, Brian Gravel going to battle it out for the second spot. 3 laps to go for Mark Keatman at the stripe. He's got a couple car lengths to the second place car. Is everybody getting spread back out? 3 to go. Mark Keatman into turns 3 and 4. Got a comfortable advantage. The popsicle sticks up in the air this time around. Battle for the 4th spot. Justin Coleman, Brian Vows, not quite done settling the battle for fourth. As they head down the back straightaway, but all eyes are up front on the number 2, Mark Keatman. He has won 26 times in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. A few of those have been crown jewel events. This season, he's won quite a few races. If you've kept up on Facebook, you've seen how dominant this man has been all season long. He rolls through turns 3 and 4. He comes to the checker flag to pick up the career win number 27. And Mark Keatman is going to win the Freedom 200 at Myrtle Beach. Mark Keatman Jr. once again goes to victory lane with the Mid-South iRacing Tour. He's going to put on a show and drift through turns 3 and 4 before he parks it on the front straightaway. We will be back in just a second with a word from our winner, Mark Keatman. It'll be fun to reminisce with Mark Keatman, as I have interviewed him quite a few times here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. And tonight marks his 27th victory with the series. So we'll be right back for a word from our winner before we close things off here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. We'll be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network, and I am with our winner, the 27 now time winner in the Mid-South iRacing Tour Super Late Model Division. Mark, it kind of sounds like a broken record, but how'd you do it tonight?
I really just tried to maintain my tires all race. I was kind of contemplating the fuel strategy there, and also the tire strategy. I came down with about 67 to go. I was really hoping for it was just going to go green. I was going to get around Brandon, and that was going to be it. I got to say hats off to Robbie. I have no idea how he was that fast with his nose killed the way it was, but hats off to him. He had a really good run going. I would want to apologize to Brandon. I gave him the bumper slightly, 4 or 5 times, just, trying to get by him. And he would just park the bus, and I didn't even get any contact points for when I got into him the last time. So just want to apologize to him. But overall, it was a really good race. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, great race indeed. We saw you start up front, and we saw you lead for the majority of the first half of the race. Got shuffled back a little bit there, but luckily you were able to kind of weave your way through traffic and get back to the front pretty quickly. And then you were able to catch Brandon Wilkinson, obviously, over the course of that long run. So pretty good race, and obviously your strategy, as you said, worked out. That's win number 27, Mark. You got a lot of people helping you out. I'll let you shout out anybody you got to.
Yeah, I want to thank Ryan Kuhn with RKM. He's been a huge help in my development. Want to thank Justin Brooks for this badass paint scheme we got on here for the 4th of July. All my friends and family. I got to thank my dad, K Cars, Race Cars, all them. All my friends and family who watched the stream and been rooting me on all season. Big thanks to them, and thanks to Robert Houtenbach and Kenneth Kuko for putting up the money for the race, and thanks to you, Winston, for broadcasting.
Yeah, it was fun. It was pretty fun to shake the rust off. Haven't done it in obviously a really long time, but it was a fun race to come back to, and it's always fun talking to you in Victory Lane, Mark, so congrats.
Yes, sir. Hope you can stream some more of these races for us. Always a good time.
Yep. We wish you luck next week. I'm hoping to be back. We'll see if the schedule allows it, but can't promise anything, but I definitely want to be back.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. That was Mark Keatman, your feature winner here tonight in the Mid-South iRacing Tour Freedom 200 at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. So on screen now you'll see the official results on the left side. We finished with 12 cars on the lead lap. Mark Keatman at the top of those. Zach Coyer coming home second in the 13. Brian Gravel picking up the final spot on the podium. Justin Coleman recovering from that spin late in the race to finish fourth. Brian Vouse in the 55 finishes fifth. Jake Grout coming home sixth in the 49. Jake Brooks coming home seventh in the 57. Cooper Ward eighth. Magnus Anderson coming home ninth. Michael Dunn rounding out the top 10. Then rounding out the rest of the cars on the lead lap is Brandon Elvis, Todd Lamphere, and Kenneth Kuko one lap down. But we'll give him a shout out because he helped put on this race and this broadcast. So thank you everybody for watching the WD Broadcasting Network and the Mid-South iRacing Tour. It was pretty fun, as I said, to shake off the rust. I look forward to being back. Obviously, if you were here before, the stream's changed a little bit. I changed a lot of things on it. Looking forward to kind of learning the software and changing a little bit more and making the production of this stream one of the higher quality ones around. So if you're interested in all that, you can give me a follow. My socials are on the outro screen. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your week, and have a good night.